Welcome to the Connect Like Minds podcast. I'm the host, Sharice. I interview people making a difference in their communities and in their creative spaces. Today's special guest is a U.S. Navy Chief Petty Officer and a content creator who is making a name for herself on Instagram and TikTok as a social media influencer. Welcome to the Connect Like Minds podcast, Raven.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm so glad to be here. I appreciate this opportunity. I'm
Well, it's a
nervous.
pleasure. Oh my gosh, girl, you fine. Nah, make yourself at home. We ain't doing the nervous
Um,
stuff today.
Okay.
All right. So I like to start from the very beginning when I talk to people for their first time on my platform. So can you tell everyone where you're from?
Okay. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, South Side, the real South Side. I can give you real landmarks because I've been there all my life. That's where I reside. That's where I came from.
Okay. So speaking of Chicago, what is a cool place that you would recommend me go since I would be a tourist? Because I've never been. Well, I have been to Chicago, but I've only flew through there, so that doesn't count.
I would say downtown. I love downtown because you got a little bit of everything. You
Hmm.
got the Magnificent Mile. If it's warm outside, it could be some festivities over there. Get a nice little high rise. There's no place, no city I've ever been to that compares to downtown Chicago. So we got good food. We got the visitors coming in there. We got the locals that like to hang out down there. Um, but if you really want to get some good food,
Hmm.
you gotta go to the South Side. So in certain places, like, you just go in there, you get your food, and you go out. Don't try to make conversation, don't try to hang around. Pre-order your food if you can. They got some spots on the low end for ribs. Um, but it's not really like big names, so it's hard to say off the top, but
Okay.
you'll just have to ask a local, um, let's say in the train station or in the when you get off the plane, not like going around asking because then they're gonna know you not from there
Yeah.
and you might get got.
Yeah, I don't want those
So yeah.
problems. I'm gonna just hit you up and ask you.
Sure thing.
One more question about Chicago. Have you ever had, well, you probably had. How's the deep dish pizza? That's one of my questions I ask people from Chicago.
I don't think I've had that one, but I don't think
What?
real Chicagoans like deep dish pizza.
Oh,
No,
okay. Okay, okay, okay.
we don't like that flat stuff like the New Yorkers have, but um, I say one of the best pizzas would be like, ooh, Italian Fiesta.
Okay.
And it's only a few of them around there. So it's like, it's hella greasy. It got the meatballs, it got the sausages, it got I'm just thinking about it right now. You can get some bacon added to it, but Italian Fiesta is fat. Fye. Fat.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Bad, bad. Now, did you grow up in Chicago or did you grow up somewhere else?
I grew up in Chicago. So I was
Okay.
born there and they used to call them the projects. So I grew up in the projects on like 51st and State, went to school over there. I mainly stayed around on the southeast side of Chicago, so over like Lakeshore Drive. It was a
Hmm.
nicer area, but we still had, little situations. My granny, she was on like the like southwest side over by Midway Airport.
Hmm.
So I've been south side the entire time and then joined the military from my grandmother's house.
Wow. So speaking of the military, did anyone influence you to want to join the military or you just decided like, yo, that's what I'm going to do?
Well, it was somebody I used to know
Mhm.
in high school. So we were dating. This guy was dating.
Mhm.
His stepdad was Air Force, and he used to talk to me about Air Force all the time. But mainly it was my godfather. My godfather, he was a Mason, but also a Black Panther. And I think he did a little bit in pretty much every branch except the Coast Guard. He did some time, I believe, in the Army uh, and the Marines in the Air Force. And so, yeah, I think he got kicked out of like two of them.
Dang.
But he said, "Go in, do your thing. It can set you up for life." And then I ended up getting a call from a recruiter, and she
Mhm.
was talking to me like she was one of my homegirls. And so we started talking. But then I was like, "Where do I know you from?" Because she had a bit of an accent.
Mhm.
And she gave me her name. She just kept saying, "Oh, this is Kim. This is Kim."
Mhm.
She was a recruiter from the Navy. So I feel like I got hoodwinked into that whole little situation because initially I didn't plan to. I wanted to go to a high school that had NROTC, but the high school I went to did not have it. So I sort of went in not knowing much.
Mhm.
That was that.
Okay. Now, what was your dream job growing up? Did you have one? Although I know you were influenced to join the military.
Oh, dream job. I never really wanted a job. I will honestly say I had been working since I was 14.
Mhm.
So my first job was like a career counselor, like a park counselor over the summer. And my main job, okay, I worked at American Girl Place and then I worked in a White Sox park, but I was up in the booths. So I would see a
Mhm.
lot of celebrities and things like that. And so I just always I met Scottie Pippen one day and he was, I don't know, 8 feet tall. I walk into the room, I'm pushing the booth in there, the beverage booth, because we were selling like Baileys and all these other drinks.
Mhm.
And he was smoking a cigar. He seemed like, is this real? And so I just said, hi, I'm stuttering. And he's just like, come on in, what's your name? And I said, hi, I'm Raven. Could I offer you something? And so I don't remember what he asked, but I gave him his thing and from that moment on, I just sort of thought like, I just want to be with the celebrities. Celebrities, but then I realized that they're just regular people. So I never had a dream job. But if I had to choose one, it would have been a lawyer because I saw a lot of people in
Okay.
Chicago being mislabeled, punished, unjustly. And I was just like, if I could defend them, then I would do that.
Wow. Wow. That's dope. That's so dope. All right. This next segment is called Digging Deeper. And during this segment, I'll ask you some thought provoking questions about your personal life and your career. You ready to dig in?
I'm ready.
You looked a little bit apprehensive, so I didn't know.
What's next? Yes, let's do it.
All right. Why did you choose to join the Navy?
Well, I chose to join the Navy. The Navy chose me actually, because then I went to the office after I spoke to that woman.
Mhm.
My recruiting station was like down the street. It was on like 47th and Lake Park in Hyde Park area. So I would
Mhm.
go there and we would connect and things like that. I think initially I had to redo my ASVAB. I
Mhm.
didn't take it serious. I wasn't used to standardized tests. They got on my nerves. I was just like, what's the reason? Because I knew I didn't really want to go to college. So that helped me determine some things. But then um, I didn't have the best upbringing with my mom. So it
Mhm.
was just like, I moved out at 16, actually got kicked out at 16. And so
Wow.
I was staying with my godfather and that was sort of different. I had a lot of freedom. I
Mhm.
was at some points in high school I had 2 jobs, and so I was
Wow.
just like, I just didn't feel like that was living for the things that I wanted to do. um but I really just wanted my own money. I was a part of the Big Brothers Big Sisters program when I was growing up because I didn't
Okay.
have any active big sisters in my household, even though I had
Mhm.
some from my dad's side of the family. And just the things that she exposed to me and the years that we had been connected um, opened my aperture to life. And
Mhm.
so, of course, the things that you see on TV exposed me to, oh, this is different. People, it's warm weather. We don't have to deal with snow. We don't have to deal with snow days.
Yeah.
You could be on the beach. You can do all these different things. So it was like, oh, it's not a dream. And after talking to my recruiter, the things that she said, coupled with
Mhm.
the small amount of things that I had seen and experienced myself, I think the only time I had been outside of Chicago before the Navy was on a road trip to Florida when I was like 7 or 8 years old. And so she sold me a dream. At the
Yeah.
time, the um, the slogan for the Navy was "Accelerate Your Life," and I was just like, "Yeah, I'm ready to do it." So I think I probably went into the DEP program, delayed entry program, a whole into my junior year, maybe like 8 months before I even was eligible to graduate. So I was in there. I was trying to recruit people to come with me. My
Mhm.
best friend at the time, still my best friend, she was supposed to come with me, but those standards was a little raggedy and it was a little tight for her. So she's doing great things now, but I joined to have my own life, to have my own money, and pretty much not have to take care of kids because I had my siblings that I had to tend to a lot. As an older sibling, sometimes
Mhm.
that is thrown upon you, thrust upon you, but I just needed stability for the most part.
Okay. What was your experience like in Navy boot camp?
Man, um, it was a time. It was a time. So, right before I joined boot camp, I had what was this? A few years before I joined boot camp, I joined the Navy. I had a brother that passed away. And
My
so,
condolences. I'm sorry to hear that.
thank you. So, my brother passed away. I picked up the habit and of enjoying greenery. And so, it was
Mm,
just like I would see, people get stuck in that hole, doing all that. So, needless to say, I got to boot camp. I was coming off the greenery.
mhm,
And, I had these things that not my detailer, I didn't know detailers yet, that who would that have been? My recruiter was telling me that I needed to do, that I needed to um, say when I got there, whatnot, that I needed to focus on. It was just pretty much like affirmations and stuff. So when I got to
mhm.
boot camp, you see the movies and you think like, oh, you know, it's gonna be a breeze. It was not. We got there, I was hungry, so my ribs was touching. I was with all these other females. Then we still had to stay in a hotel. So we stayed in a hotel. I was in a room with a female that was going to the army.
Mhm.
So it was like, well, I'm in Chicago. Why I got to stay in a hotel? Just let me sleep and then let me get there. So they still picked me up from my grandma's house, took me to the
Mhm.
hotel, get off the bus along with all these other females, get into this little musty barracks. It's late at night. Then they're trying to wake you up, talking about, oh, you got watch. I don't even know what watch is. And then who are you to tell me I got to do this? So that's how it started. And then I ended up meshing with a lot of the girls. I've
Mhm.
always been slim thick in my mind. So it was just like that was my intro. I said, how y'all doing? I'm thickness from Chicago and they just
My
laughed.
God.
So I think um I was real city. I mean real
Yeah.
silly, real witty. Um I had two cell phones in boot camp. They have cell phones now. So we had this thing called the A and B sock. And the A and B sock, you supposed to when you're going through processing, you put everything into the box to
Mhm.
ship it home. But I was
Mhm.
like, what if I got to talk to somebody? I'm just already thinking like that, not knowing that we really going to get phone calls and stuff. So I had that. So needless to say, I was a little bit of a troublemaker. They threatened to send me back home. Um, I remember being fit for full duty because you have to go through your medical processing before they can actually beat you, PT you. And as soon as I was fit, I was doing push-ups until I started, my eyes started sweating. And they said, we could just put you on a train and send you back home. But then I thought about what I was not running away from, but what I was looking to create for myself. And I said, going back home really wasn't an option. But I made some connections that lasted for, quite a long time. Some of us are still connected,
Mhm.
mainly social media. So we're not as active and we don't see each other in person like we used to, but boot camp was amazing and it's an experience that I will never forget. And plus, because I got beat down so much, I left with probably about 15 more pounds of gains. So, it was a good time.
Same here, same here. I got a question though. You guys were allowed to have cell phones there?
No, I actually got in trouble for that because, well, I hope I'm not giving away the secret. Now they can have, boot camp is babysitting to me from what I hear now, but
Mm.
um, we would go march into this one area and we would make our phone calls there. And
Oh,
I
y'all
would
made
take
phone
my cell
calls.
phone. Hmm,
Y'all made phone calls.
yeah,
Hmm.
y'all didn't make none in the
No,
Marines?
no. You make
Oh,
one the first phone when you get there, you got somebody yelling at you and you have to read a script. to your family to let them know that you made it safely to Paris Island. Then after that, you don't get another phone call until family day. Well, before family day so they can come. But yeah, that's it.
It's unfortunate.
Man, that's
Well, every
crazy.
week, but
It was
yeah, we
it was
did. Um, I would mainly take my cell phone because one of them it couldn't charge. So I
mhm,
would like charge it maybe like late at night or something, sit by the outlet when our RDCs were gone or something like that. And I would
mhm.
charge it for a little bit. So one phone I could talk on, but the other one was using to like charge my phone. And I was good maybe like, I don't know, 5 weeks into boot camp until somebody told on me. And I don't even
Dang.
know how. It was somebody, haters always outside the club watching, trying to get in. And she was not one of my people. She was not, we wasn't locked in. And so when
Yeah,
she seen it or heard one of my people talking about it, because I think I used to let some of my girls like use the phone. We'll go to church and then go in the bathroom and be using the phone to call our little booze or whoever back home. And so yeah, we weren't
okay.
supposed to have it, but I did that. So
Word. What's
yeah.
up, man? I shoulda went to the Navy. I could pull
Nah,
that off too.
nah.
Don't care if I woulda
I
got in
know I'm gonna
trouble,
hear
that woulda
people
been worth it.
yeah, yeah. They was on us.
So, I was gonna ask you, why did you choose active duty over the reserves? But I feel like you made a great point of saying, like, you don't wanna go back to where you came from and you saw what you could create moving forward. I guess that would be your answer, right?
Yeah, but oh, you said why the Navy? Also, I had really thought about the Air Force because
Mhm,
the gentleman that used to talk to me about the Air Force, he said you need to go in as an Air Force officer. However, the Air Force door was never open,
mhm,
never open. Whenever I went there, because I was hanging out quite a bit, um, Air Force, their office was not open. This was at another recruiting station that I would go to that was closer to my mom house because the first one I was going to was close to my high school.
yeah,
So, then the Army, well, they almost got me because I think they were talking about like a 50,000, maybe between 50,000 $100,000 bonus. And I
yeah,
don't even know how long, 4 years, 6 years. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be rich. But then I was just like, that mean I might have to like really fight. I might die. Like, what's the catch if you trying to give me $100,000? I don't know. Then
yeah.
the Marines, y'all was so clean. And I just said, I just want to graduate to get that uniform. But then I thought about it. I said, they got to do pull ups or something. I don't know how to do all that.
You
So,
gonna learn.
nah, I
You
wasn't going to set
gonna learn.
myself up for failure trying to do pull up when I was barely doing push ups. And Air Force wasn't there. So I couldn't join something where the office wasn't there. And
Right.
Navy just seemed like it was just everybody I saw was cool. They had these government vehicles, it was clean. It was of course, I know now that they was just catering to whatever I wanted. Oh, well, what you like? Oh, you like Ludacris? So every time I got in the car, Ludacris playing, Trina
Mhm.
playing. And I thought I was going to join the Navy, save all my money, and go hang with Ludacris and Trina
Oh
because
my
my
god.
favorite cousin, um, she loved Trina.
Trina.
And I loved Ludacris. I was just in great admiration of this man, this
Mm.
light skinned man with the fro and the braids. And yeah, it didn't happen like that. I got to the Navy and it was like remix, but I didn't know anything about the reserves. I had no idea about the
Okay.
Coast Guard or any other Space Force wasn't around. But yeah, that was it. Navy
Okay.
was it.
Okay. One thing that I thought was interesting is that, like, when I was in the delayed entry program, they helped us out to know what to expect before we went to boot camp. So, I feel like your recruiter was just trying to just give you whatever you wanted. She should have told you, like, what watch was. That's something that we learned. It's I forgot what it's called. I think we
Hmm.
call it duty in the Marine Corps, but whatever. Like, basically fire watch, that's what we called it, fire watch. So, I thought that was interesting that they ain't tell you that. They should have told you that.
You know what? I might have had selective hearing. She might have told me some of those things, but I think I was just focused on getting away.
Yeah.
I think it was just like being in survival mode and just like I know I gotta do something. So, she could have told me certain things, but she got me with like how things looked because she kept her nails done. Then
Mhm.
she had a relaxed little bob And you know how hard it is to keep those things up. So I was like,
Mhm.
oh, she got money, you know, had her
Yeah.
little rings on. She had, like I said, she had an accent. I think she was either from Guyana or Trinidad or something.
Mhm.
And I had never really interacted with anybody that was from the island. So
Mhm.
I think it was the lifestyle that was sold to me. I didn't care what had to be done. So if she told me, I was, oh yeah, yeah, girl, that's easy. I know how to run. I run track. Because and that was the funny thing. I got to boot camp.
Yeah.
Oh, and the first time I had to do a mile and a half
Mhm.
was in boot camp. So I was on the track
Oh.
team in high school, but I was a sprinter. And and I had done cross country, but I think I rolled my ankle one time and we was running through the grass and I said, oh, I don't like this. It's hot. And we outside in the grass. No, thank you. So boom, gets to boot camp. They put
Yeah.
us on the track, and it's just the first run through your mile and a half. So we're inside this place. It's called Freedom Hall. That's where
Mhm.
everybody goes, I think. And so we're running through there. I don't know how many laps it was supposed to take, but I noticed less and less people was on the track, meaning they were complete, and I still was not. And
Oh,
so
no.
everybody just felt like, "Oh, you're gonna be fast," but I didn't know how to pace myself for distance like that. And so
Yeah.
I probably gave my all in the first two, lapping people, and now I'm sitting there down in the corner, 100 pounds, not even 100 pounds, and they're like, "What's that for?" And so I got kicked off the track because the at my age back then, we had 14 minutes and 45 seconds to complete a mile and a half.
Mhm.
By the time time had elapsed to 20 minutes, it was like off the track, off the track. And so they were
Dang.
telling me like, if you can't pass, you know, all in your face, you can't pass, you going back, you ain't working on your mama ain't gonna be none, you ain't. And I was just like, I couldn't even say nothing, speechless. So I just
Yeah.
had to run and do the thing and, you know, pass out at the end. So eventually I got it together.
Okay. How many miles you running now? A mile and a half.
Enough. I'm about to say they call it the 3 mile club. So when we had to do PRTs
Mhm.
twice a year, it was mile and a half. You know, now I'm about them gains. I be in
Okay.
the gym. I'm a lifter. So
No.
we're trying to do this thing where it's like no fat cheats and running and all that kind of stuff because
Mhm.
when I came in, we did not have the option to do all these other things they got now. Like, oh, you could roll, you could swim, you could do the bike.
Yeah.
Unless you had a medical limitation, it wasn't no reason he wasn't running. Because when I went back to be a boot camp instructor, maybe about 5 to 6 years in the Navy, I had to run. And when I was a command fitness leader, I had to run. And so
Mhm.
now all of a sudden, we got these big bodies coming into the military. Standards are being lowered. People not ready to go to war, go to fight if we have to do it.
Mhm.
You can't run. So I feel like they need to get back to doing that.
For
Even though I
sure.
couldn't do it, but I'm about to roll out. New babies do that.
Um, now that you're in the rank that you're in right now, I guess what are some perks that you have? Because you're what is it? A chief petty officer, correct? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. What is
That's
like a
correct.
perk that you have? Because one of the things in the Marine Corps that I found out is that they're kind of lax on their height and weight standards after you become like a E8 or E7 or something like that. So, what about the Navy?
Well, I would say it depends on the command, the duty station you're at, as far as I'm not gonna say the standards, because sometimes, you know, honestly, I feel like people was getting hooked up because I'm like, you're protruding, you're rotund, and you're passing the things, but don't get it twisted because some of those big bodies they be moving, so they're
Yeah, for
runners.
sure,
I don't
for
know
sure.
what was right, but so I don't think that it's like a hookup thing, but I would say making chief was that was never really in my aperture. I actually wanted to go to um I wanted to go officer. That was the goal from the moment I
Oh,
came in. I
yeah.
wanted to go officer. I got my associates, my bachelor's within maybe a year of each other. And
Mhm,
then 2019 I got my master's. And so it was just like I wanted to do that, but um the same year I didn't make officer for the third time, I
mhm,
got selected for chief and that was my first time up. And I had I'm not going to say always. Some of the things that people would say to me is that I lack tact. But I noticed that they only said I lack tact when it came to me saying something they didn't want to be called out on. Um, Granted, things could have been said better at times, but if someone honestly that was not in that quid pro quo type situation, um, if it wasn't coming from somebody who was less than melanated, they could say the same thing. But as soon as Raven said it, you know, Suzanne Sarah said this. Oh, she's so passionate. It's so much,
Mhm.
she's assertive. But I say it as aggressive. So it was just like when I made Chief, it was no longer like, oh, we call by rate. So it's no longer HM1 or IT1 or something like that. It is when I'm talking to, my sailors, my juniors. But
Mhm.
if you the other chief and normally you might be HMC Piggott, but
Mhm.
now it's like, Sharice, I ain't like that. I wasn't fooling with that. And it was great because now I'm more personable and I can go talk to you and say that. And it's
Mhm.
kind of like you're more, it's less of a uniform, but it's like, now your people need supplies before y'all go out to deployment. Why y'all was acting crazy? Because you want everything connected. So I like that I was able to tuck in my anchors
Mhm.
and say what I need to say with my whole chest instead of hiding behind a rank because a lot of times people do not even want to hear you if
Right.
you're a junior sailor. And I do my best to hear people because I let them know. Because if they'll say, "Oh, I'm just a second class, I'm just a first class," and I'd be like, "That's when I started being a big dog." So I was like, it don't start when you become a chief. All of a sudden, you realize how big, how big you are, and I'm all of 5'4.5", 142. So I'm
Mhm.
like, I've been a big dog since I was 100 pounds. It's a
Yeah.
attitude, it's a demeanor. And I feel like if you carry yourself where you can't make eye contact, where you're unsure about what it is, because somebody could be like, well, is it cold outside, Raven? I'd be like, man, no. So it's just like if I say it with my chest and if I'm sure about something, that's what it is by somebody saying, I think I might, we probably could do this. I'm trying to do this. You just got to be sure. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with that. If it's wrong, I'm like, oh, my apologies. So now we fix it. That's that. I think it's all about uh, the confidence that was sort of like already saying, yeah, I'm already Raven. I'm from Chicago. I've come this far. I haven't come this far just to come this far. And then
Hey,
also,
bars.
it's from out,
Yeah, I
but
do.
then also a lot of women that I have been stationed with, or they had retired before me, they were just like, you did this for us. I'm proud of you. So with you wearing this uniform, it's like I'm wearing a uniform. So make sure you make a difference. So making chief wasn't about me. It was about everybody else.
That's what's up. It
Yeah.
kinda reminds me of, like, the difference that I felt, like, from being in the Marine Corps and then being in the Army. It's like, in the Marines, it's drilled in you that you're a leader from the very first day, versus, like, in the
Hmm.
Army, it's like, "Oh, when you finally hit E5, that's when you're a leader." No, it's not. You should have been leading. I used to get so upset with everybody, and I used to be like, I will trust any of my privates before I trust any of these sergeants. So I used to be going off when I was in the field because I'm just like, how the heck if you couldn't lead when you was a private, you can't lead when you're a sergeant either. You've been sucking. That's how I felt. And you could tell. You could just tell the leadership difference and everything. So well, clearly you can
Hmm.
tell why I got out of the army, but I totally agree with you. So that's what's up. That is what's up. Um, when you went off to the Navy, how did your family and friends feel? Like, were they supportive, or they were against it?
Um, I feel like everybody was supportive because I don't think anybody in my friend group from back then went to the military. Most of them, they went to college. My family, I had this one cousin because at the time, I think Osama bin Laden was in the limelight. He was the person
Mhm.
we was looking for. And so
Mm,
he didn't even know what I did. I'm in IT. And my cousin would be like, y'all found Osama yet? Where he at? When y'all gonna go get him? And I'd be like, cause I don't know. We looking for him. And I'm thinking
yeah.
like that's a SEAL thing. Women are not even SEALs, but my cousin, that is the regard that I feel some of my family held me to. And
Mhm,
anytime I came home, my granny, that was my boo, that was my love, my best friend. She would be like, she had a candy store that she ran from her house, from the front room. So when people
mhm.
would come in, she had my boot camp picture on her wall. I'm sitting there all crusty and dusty, just in my picture, and she was just like, "Yeah, that's my granddaughter. That's her right there. She in the army." And I'd be like, "Navy, grandma." She's like, "Yeah, she in the military." And she always was making some stuff up about what I did. I hadn't even been on deployment, but my grandma was just proud. So I think a lot of my family was like, they was really excited. Some of them were scared because they didn't know what was happening. I think it was right after um, Iraqi freedom. It was during that time. It was a bunch going on, so they was like nervous, like, "What's happening?
Yeah.
What's going? Do you got to go to war, cousin? You going out there? You got to fight?" I didn't even know how to shoot yet, but they thought I was going to war. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's so good. What's some advice you would give someone, especially a woman who wants to join the Navy now?
Oh, I would say have your goals. Have your goals. Do your research prior to coming in. So
Yeah.
I feel like it has helped me set up for my kids, set up for my future. I would let them know about those benefits. Um, I will also say don't get distracted by guys coming into this thing or girls if that's your preference. You know, all of those things can go to the wayside. It's easier to build when you're not dragging anybody with you or trying to have somebody be on the same page, whether you're dating somebody that's active duty or you're dating somebody that is a civilian. It's like you speak in Spanish and they speak in, Swahili. Like it's hard. You can mesh, you can grow together, but focus on your goals. Um, Love can wait if you're not already married. Thinking about your future. Those will be some of the main things is just knowing what you're coming here for. You do not have to do the 20 to make the most of the military. And I think about it like if the way some people are so connected to a job, and even myself and some of the senior leaders I've seen leave the military prior to me, I've
Mhm.
seen people do 30 years in this thing, and not have much life after the military because they were neglecting their own health. So one of the gentlemen I worked with did 30 years in. Within 6 months, he found out he had terminal cancer and
Mm.
he was already, gone. So of course, if you have that family, knowing what you're coming in to get those things for them, but sometimes it's just like it's easy to be like, "Oh, I'm doing this. I gotta do this. I gotta do this." But then you're just existing at home because you're spending more time at work than you're actually spending at home. So you have to try to create some type of balance. I don't think work-life balance is a realistic thing because even if I'm at home, I may not physically take work home, but I wake up thinking about, "Oh, I got this evaluation I got to write, this award, I got this paperwork I got to route," and sometimes it will cause me to be tunnel vision on that instead of the things I need to. So the advice would be to know what you come in for. People can say, "Oh, with the climate we have, this is not for brown faces. This is not for women. This is not for younger kids." It's not for anybody who chooses not for them, but it'll be so many people who wonder why you have the benefits that you have when they didn't take the sacrifice that you did. So that's it.
Facts. What's one of the biggest challenges you've experienced so far in the Navy?
I would say I don't want to keep going back to this, but being a black female in the military, that is difficult because some people will see that you're easy on the eyes and so assume that you're some kind of way. Um, I've heard people say, "Oh, well, that person just had unduly familiar relationships with X, Y, and Z people, and that's how she got to where she is." It's like why she couldn't have worked to get where she was. Like, stop doing that. So, I don't like that, but it's I would say being not even just a black female, but being a female in the military, because sometimes the culture in some areas is like the jokes are like they're weird, you know, they're sexual. And then it's just like, if you say something, then you're ostracized. If you say something, then it's just like, what's wrong with you? But I choose to say something, so I don't care. But I think that can be the difficult part. People probably not wanting to help you because you're not helping them with whatever they may need personally. But I didn't come here for all that. So I think that would be one of the most difficult things, is being a female while black in the military, because I feel like you get it from different ways. But I choose not to keep saying like, "Oh, it's because I'm black. It's because I'm a female. It's because this." I think it's just some people are still uneducated
Mhm.
on different situations and how to approach people, because sometimes they wanted to make me as the angry person. Like when I was already seeing most of my partners were of different backgrounds. And sometimes we would have different places and they'd be like, okay, you're going to be this, you're going to be this, you be the mean one. And I was just like, it takes so much energy to be the mean one. You know, I
Yeah.
enjoy being an RDC, but if I'm coming in, I'm turning on Drake 0 to 100 and waking them out they bunks and they tripping to get out the bed to get on the tow line, like it's funny, it's different, but at the time, it's just like, that's what had to be done. But then I learned not to be a puppet for anybody within this organization, because sometimes they'll try to make you be that. And then later on, you're labeled as that throughout your tenure. And
Yeah,
that's not what you want. So, yeah, finding your identity within a male dominated organization can be, it can be tough.
for sure. Aside from the military, you're a content creator. What made you decide to step in that space?
Honestly, I think it was just like I talk a lot to my friends, and well, I'll say like associates and things like that. And sometimes they'd be like, "Oh, that was good information." But this was really what it was. So boom. I was dating someone after my divorce, and pretty much we would see these different things. And I was just like, they talk about the same stuff, we have conversations about. But then I also I had been through a divorce. I had been a single mom to a married mom to back to a single mom. And I felt like I had so many things that were relatable when it came to my sailors, that I was just like, it was pretty much therapy and documenting stuff for me. But then through that, it's been a lot of people, men and women, that have reached out about something that they may be going through. Of course, you get the people that try to slide in a shot like, you single, you talking about this, you talking about that. But I wanted to put it out there that it's cool to be like, it's cool to talk about certain things. You don't have to like suffer in silence, because I feel like it's a lot of people that do that. So it's more so like, if I could just help one person, then that's that. I don't have time to talk to everybody, but maybe if they can listen to like a minute long video and they be like, that makes sense, because when you going through something, you feel like you're the only person in that,
Yeah.
in this big year of 2026, you're the only person that's gone through a breakup. You're the only person that's went through, being a single mom. You're the only person that everybody done that. I think you just sort of have to find your tribe, but I just wanted to be able to use my voice to say that. And some people are
Mhm.
like, well, dang, how do you do it? I'm nervous every time I get ready to record a video. It could be something simple where I'm talking about my skin or getting ready to go, to a military ball. But I'm
Mhm.
still like, how are people gonna look at this? But then I was just like, they ain't gonna fight me. I don't care. And it's always people that's outside that's worried about what somebody else doing. And I
Always.
thought about how when I critique somebody, if I got time to critique this person about something, I'm not doing enough. You need to go make some more money. You need to go back to the gym. You need to go take a nap. Because why you worried about that person that's cringe online and you sitting there watching them? Keep
Exactly.
watching, mother lover. So
Facts. Okay. As a content creator, how many videos do you make a week? Like, what's your target?
my goal was at least one a day, um, before I got into batch recording. But then sometimes I record something batch and I'm just like, I don't like that. Or I'd be like, my audience responded well to this, so maybe I can do more of this. But then
Mhm.
I also didn't want to get stuck in the niche of being, talking about single mom or talking about a breakup or talking about the military because like I was like, right now being single is, you know, my thing. Right now being a single mom is another thing. But
Mhm.
none of those things are Raven in totality. So I was just like, my goal pretty much was one a day, but now I'm just like, I'm good with maybe like four, or sometimes it's just like, I just want to be present with my kids. So on average, four a week,
Okay. Cool. What are some tips you would give someone who wants to step into content creation?
get to do the doing. Um, because it was back in 2018 when I brought my ring light and I was at a baby shower for one of my friends who was active duty at the time. And she said,
Mhm.
yeah, just do it because I wanted to do YouTube. And this was before COVID and all that stuff happened. So I was like, yeah, that time flew because 8 years later, I had to restart YouTube. Then finally started getting into this, but it's just like, it's no perfect time. It's not. And I felt like, oh, I needed a ring light. Oh, I needed a mic. I needed one of those little cute mics I be seeing people with. I needed a cute backdrop. I needed, to make sure my skin was clear. So, I needed to make sure I was happy with myself. I wasn't going to sit on here crying, you
Yeah.
know, um, but it was just more so like, just start. People will connect with you because of the way that you grow. People will connect with you because of how transparent you are. People will criticize you for those same things. It's all engagement. And if you can get a piece of check or you can get some exposure off of that, then that's cool. It's not, OnlyFans or, but nothing against people that's what they choose to do. But
Right.
just flip and start. You can always switch up the narrative. It's on you. Who gonna check you?
Nobody. They can,
Right.
I guess, try to at least. Well, some people get
Mhm.
canceled, so I don't know.
I mean, niggas gotta watch what they say. So it's like I say it, and somebody asks me something, and they be like, "So yeah, my husband was doing this, my wife did this," and I'm like, "Me personally, this is what I would do." But make your own decision. I don't know.
Speaking of your divorce, how has that impacted you, on social media, on and off of social media? Like, cause that's gotta be a lot to deal with. I've never been married and I've never had a divorce, but I know it takes a toll on people.
So how did it take a toll? I initially it made me go real like isolated.
Mhm.
I went from the point of speaking to whomever would listen about it. Oh, he did this, he did that, blah blah blah, raggy this. To I was burnt out from telling that story. And it seemed as if it was like victim. And I had to sit there and look at myself like, well, what did you do? Or how could you have been better? And so I think a lot of people was with me when I was telling the story about how things didn't work and how they failed and how I didn't like certain things um, pertinent to him, pertinent to the situation at the time because I was speaking from high emotions. And
Yeah.
then once I became more, um, things simmered down quite a bit, it was just like I didn't have as many people, reaching back out, or it would be some of those people circling back like, oh, this still happening, this still happening. They only wanted, the messiness. They only wanted the drama. Nobody was
Yeah.
really trying to help fix. So I stopped talking to everybody about the situations and started focusing on what would help me as a person, what would help my kids as a whole, and what I ultimately wanted. So um, when I initially started, it was an associate of mine that said another associate of mine who was following me was like, "Oh, what's this that Ravens posting? It must be about a breakup or something." Like, granted, that could have been one of like I said, a portion, a chapter in Raven's book. I ain't even gonna say a chapter. Close that little piece of chapter out. It could have been a couple pages in a chapter of a book, but that's what
Yeah.
people want to identify you as. And so it was just like I stopped talking to people maybe in person as much about what was happening online because it'd be a lot of people that's outside the club that's watching me online, and then all of a sudden they want to talk about it. But it's just like that was my space to talk about it right there.
Right.
Right now we having brunch. Do I want to talk about that? No. Do I want to talk about how this happened? No. You know,
Yeah,
like, can I help you navigate that? Probably, but no. Go to therapy and go do the work. So I think that changed a lot of, the way I review, not review, the way I deal with certain relationships now moving forward. I'll say in all aspects, because I don't want to keep hearing how you tripped up the stairs because you was running. Stop running up the stairs then. Why you keep going? Like, so
right,
it's just sort of like my tolerance has decreased for a lot of things like that. You probably got 1 or 2 times to tell me that story. I don't want to keep hearing it. Now what we doing?
right.
So that's it.
Are you moving forward? Like, come on.
Right.
Was getting married one of your goals in life at that time? Has it ever been a goal? And do you see yourself getting married again?
I will honestly say getting married was not a goal. I think that that's pressed upon, females that you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have kids, you're supposed to do this. So when it did come into my head, I remember being in like A school and it was a guy that I liked back then.
Mhm,
And I just felt like I had everything figured out. I said, by the time I'm 25, I'll be married. I don't know if I mentioned kids or anything like that, but getting married was probably something that I felt like, oh, I'm supposed to do it. But even the day that I was going to get married, I felt like sick. I felt sick. And I
mhm,
remember sitting there, we're getting married, and I loved him. But it was just like he's on one side, I'm on the other side. Um, we're holding our son. I think my 12-year-old son was the one we were holding. And
mhm,
then we had my son, my oldest son was 8 at the time. And I'm holding him. And it was just like, do you take this man? And it was just like one of those, the ball drops, the pin drops. This is it. Like, this is it. It wasn't a feeling
yeah,
like my husband, my man, my man, my man. It was just like,
yeah,
dang. So, no, getting married was not a goal. But once I got married, staying married was the goal. But
that's what's up.
it didn't happen like that.
Yeah.
God said, Sky Daddy was like, remix. So it didn't work. I feel like if people be trying to force stuff and,
Yeah.
so getting married was not a goal. It was not.
Do you see yourself getting married again?
I'm open to partnerships and real relationships. I'm not saying that a partnership has to end in marriage. I'll just
Mhm,
say I'm open to it,
mhm,
but it's different. I don't, buy into the ideal when people say the dating pool got murky waters or it's musty out there. If you musty, you're gonna attract must, but
mhm.
sometimes, you know, I think you will have that same person coming to you with a different face, a different mask. And until you can pass that test, you're gonna keep going through that.
The
And
same
so now,
cycle. Yeah.
the same little musty cycle. So I'm open to marriage. I'm more so open to partnership, but sometimes people they can't even get out the DM. They can't even
Yeah.
get past like they don't, I don't know. Social media has changed things up, and not just my social media, but it's changed it up. The access, the options, what they view as options, like, can we talk? So
Not
yeah.
now. Some people, even guys, requiring people to work have a certain salary. Even women are like, it's just a whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm open to it. I would love to have a partner. I feel like we are better together with somebody else. But also, I feel like while I'm doing what I'm doing, it's easier to focus on that, and I've
Yeah.
been having my space to myself for a while. So it's just like, sharing that and opening up that to somebody else because you just wonder how authentic people are. And if I
Yeah.
had a deadline by the time I'm 48, this is what I want. Or if I was open to having more kids, like, I don't know. It's just like I feel like you can give the same answers to two different guys and definitely have two different outcomes because one guy will simply mirror you, another guy will simply be like, yes, this is who I've been praying for. So right now, I think everything that is not working out, I'm cool with it because it's leading me to whoever I'm supposed to be with. So come on then, Sky
There you
Daddy.
go.
I'm
Sky Daddy
open
gonna
to
bring
it,
it
you
to
know.
you.
Yeah, eventually.
For sure. What's one of the most outrageous questions you've ever been asked on Instagram, whether that's from one of your followers or somebody trying to DM you?
Um, oh God. I think outrageous because I was thinking, what are some of the things? Oh, somebody sent me like a video of them like working out, or it'd be like, can we and he ain't had no games or nothing. You know, male titties showing, and he talking about he sent me a picture, a video of him working out. And I said, what? Who was this for? Or even just saying like, can we go out? I think all of those are tied, unprompted videos asking me, can we go out? Saying that you love me, things like that. It's like, you don't even know me because people
Right.
assume that they know my entire life from things that I put on there. I share what I want to share, but you don't know if I got a man right now. You don't
Yep.
know if I got somebody I'm even interested in. It's just like, I just know you're not it. So it's just, but I would say the most outrageous thing would be when I have these little musty trolls that come and they like, why would you post that and saying this about the military, this and this? But it's always somebody that ain't got no followers, that got a block profile or,
Mhm.
saying something about what I post regarding anything. And I used to entertain it. Sometimes I'm like, thanks for the engagement, or I just delete it. I don't care
Yeah.
enough. You over here, you found me. I ain't found you. Scroll,
Facts.
mother lover. So I think it's outrageous when somebody get on this big old internet and they find me and they choose to say something to me that they don't like. Well, go do something that you love and get out my space. Yeah.
Right. It's so easy to just keep scrolling. Like, why are you taking energy out your
Right.
day? Like, I don't get it. How did you come up with the name Sky Daddy when referring to God?
I think it was just me randomly speaking about certain things because I think about when you pray.
Mhm.
And before I was really like into the Bible and reading the word and stuff like that, you would think like, oh, I gotta get on my knees, I gotta like do this, I gotta have my war room set up. So
Mhm.
before I had all those things set up and I had this real etiquette, I heard you just come as you are when you go to church sometimes. So why don't you just come to Sky Daddy? I mean, come to God the way that, it is. And I was like, okay, you do not get a choice to who you're born to or anything like that. You may
Mhm.
have an absentee father, an absentee mother, an abusive, family, but your daddy is always there and he in the sky. So it's like he's never left you. Anything that I've been through, I've been brought through. And so I was like, oh, Sky Daddy. I think it was something I said one time with somebody and they was just joking and laughing at it. But
Mhm.
then that's just how it just sort of stuck with me. Like, you know, my daddy is always there in the sky, when I walk, when I drive, when I
Yeah,
wake up, he
that's what's
doing it.
up.
Yeah.
That's a cool name. I was laughing so hard. I don't know which reel I saw that you were talking about Sky Daddy, but man, that was hilarious.
Thank you.
Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Oh, 10 years. I thought about this and I would say still fit. Dang, 10 years from now, my youngest will be 22. So I'm gonna have grown kids. Yeah. I'm gonna be wiser, older. I see myself traveling. I see myself on with a few books, um, on stages. I've been in love with public speaking since what was this? Maybe 2012 or 13 when Sabrina Fulton came to a MLM international conference,
Mhm.
and just the way that she had everybody talking, just the way that she moved everybody to emotions. People like Robert Kiyosaki were there, and I was just like, man, some of these people. Not talking about any of them. Some people are not like even easy on the eyes, or you would just count them out before they even start talking. But everybody has a story,
Yeah,
and I've just been in love with that. So I see myself still speaking, doing my things on social media, praying that it translates into like actual engagements or summits, and uh, ultimately helping women, because I feel like we the foundation of everything. And so you help the women, you help the people, you help the masses, and just still creating my legacy, um, some residual income, because don't nobody want to do a 9 to 5. Do a 9 to 5 because you want to, not because you have to. And that's
right.
another thing going back to the military, is that it will afford me the leisure to do that, to do something that I want to, because I want to do it, not because I have to do it, because now I need security in my older age and things like that. But I feel like if I keep doing the things that I'm doing now, I'll be there on stages, residual income, traveling to see my kids, and just enjoying the legacy I'm creating.
That's what's up.
So yeah.
All right, now it's
Yeah.
time for some, I guess, a fun game. This next segment is
Okay.
called Uncomfortable Questions. And during this segment, I'll ask you some either or questions. And the catch is you have to choose one and then explain why you chose it. All right?
Okay.
The first
Hmm.
one up is monogamous or polygamy.
Monogamy. Easy
Say it
day.
one more time for the people in the back.
Monogamy. One meat. One person. One. That's it.
Why?
Yes. Just one.
Okay, and why do you choose one person or monogamy? Monogamous?
Um, because of soul ties, because of what is that? Partnership. Can you run forward and run backwards at the same time? No. So I feel like if you're gonna be with one person, then that's that. Dating is one thing. That don't mean that sex is included, but I just feel like don't nobody want to deal. You don't want to be 57 going to the clinic. When you hooking up with somebody, you don't want to worry about, oh, well, it was this person's birthday. That could be expensive. I don't want to
Mhm.
worry about who they're with. I don't want to share. I don't like sharing. Polygamy is like, what's wrong with you? Heal something in yourself before you go out there bothering people. Like, why you need all these people? Are you like bipolar? Nothing wrong with people being bipolar. So mental health people don't come for me. But it's just, why not just be with one person? And I feel like people that I know that have spoken about polygamy or open relationships, I don't know, it's open more for one person. That door open, 360 degrees of this person, and you ain't even got no options because ain't nobody looking at you. So you got 10 degrees over here. You mad because they got real motion. Why y'all even together? It worked for some people, but for the big dog, for the thickness, no. It's not enough to go around. I don't want to do that.
I kinda already know your answer to this next question, marriage or life partner?
I don't want to be in somebody's obituary as a special friend. So I would love to be married again, but I'm not thirsty for it. Don't put me in there like little companion, the girl that just stuck around forever, common law wife. I feel like I move as a wife. So I'm definitely a wife, but if partnership is what happens, then that's that. But I feel like they don't want to marry me. That's it.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah.
right. Navy or Air Force?
Well, the Air Force went in the office, so we will never know. I say Navy, Navy all day.
Working out alone or with a group?
Alone,
Me too.
alone.
Me too. I hate working out with people.
Why?
Well, my reason is Not that, so I don't feel like I'm like this extreme fitness person, but I have a level of fitness that I adhere to when I'm in the gym. And I just feel like, if I'm doing this amount of sets and reps, I need the people that are there to do it with me. And then sometimes people just want to talk. And dude, I'm in go mode. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you my life story right now. I'm trying to get it. So that's how I feel about that. Now, if we're going on a nice walk, sure, I could tell you whatever. I can talk to you, but I don't really like having a conversation when I'm trying to exercise.
Right, stop talking to me. Yeah, I don't like that either. And
Yeah.
people just assume that because you have, I don't know, a certain look that, they used to assume that, oh, you small, you must not eat. I be eating everything. It's just like, or because I've done bodybuilding competition, they be like, well, can you train me? Did I pay a trainer? Can you do that? So it's just like, the gym is another form of therapy for me. So solo, I can do like group workouts and stuff like that, but don't try to, oh, can I train with you? Like, I'm not a trainer because my goal is one thing and your body shape is completely different.
I
We ain't got the same goals. We different people. That's it.
I feel that. Social media or movies?
Um, Dang, my little ponytail won't stay up. I would say, mm, that's hard because social media, that can be addictive. You scrolling and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
sometimes I'll be like, okay, I just got to put it down. But I feel like neither one of them are real, so it's hard. I say neither one because social
Okay.
media people put on um movies, they're acting.
Mhm.
So, but you said one or the other. Be decent, Raven.
Hey, this your interview. So if you said neither, that's still an option.
Okay, so yeah,
All
neither
right.
one because neither one is real.
Okay. Being a content creator or being in the Navy?
Both of them.
No, you gotta
Content
choose
creator.
one. No, 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 no.
Content creator because you can do so many other things. It's a niche within itself because you are the content creator. The Navy is just a portion of me,
Mhm.
and people automatically assume I'm supposed to get on here. Today's Navy instruction is I don't, with the flag behind me and the damn national anthem playing.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna say I don't care about none of that, but Raven, that's a portion of me. A portion of me is being a chief.
yeah,
A portion of me is being a mom. The Navy, that chapter about to close. But I'm sitting here preaching about the Navy all day. It's like, dang, what else do you do? Because I talk to other people, senior leaders, like, dang, after the military, what's next?
yeah.
What we doing? And some of them don't even know because it's all that they've done. You come into the military before you even figure out life, before you figure
Mhm.
out yourself. Somebody tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, what to wear, when to be there. And then you get out at your big age, 40 something, and you don't know what to do because you done spent 20, 30 years in the military.
Yeah,
Now what we doing? Your kids don't know you. Your wife, your husband don't know you. But you was the mother loving Admiral Master Chief Sergeant of the Air Force. Find something else. So yeah, I say content creator. So I could do everything.
religion or spirituality?
Religion. That's it. It's only God. That's how I feel. People
Mhm,
can worship their rocks and they chakras in their houses and all that kind of stuff. That's just not, me. I feel like
mhm.
people they choose what works for them. And I feel like for me, every time it's been God, it's been Sky Daddy that's brought me through, that's helped me. And even the most atheist guy that I've met, that I work with, that outright say, I don't believe in God. When something wrong and you tripping up that stairs, you falling down there, your wife left you, you crying, and you say, oh God. What God
Mhm.
is that? What God you talking to now? Because you don't believe in him. So it could be any one of them, but you know, I feel like the omnipotent, the person that's really helping you out, holding you down, is God.
Okay. Now the final segment is here. This segment is called Rants with Sharice. And during Rants with Sharice, you get to rant about whatever you want. It could be about not using signal lights. I complain about that almost every day here in North Carolina. But it could be whatever you want. And after you share your rant, then you have to share a solution with our listeners to fix the rant that you just talked about. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Mine would be I deal with this a lot
Mhm.
on both ends. So I got a solution.
Okay.
Mine would be when people are driving and they want to drive like I'm right here. I'm driving in my Maserati coupe. I don't have that. And then I can see your whole face in my rearview mirror. And you so close and your hands is like this and you mad because I'm only driving 70 and the speed limit is 65. So many times in California, I got that person riding on my bumper, just all on my bumper. And aside from brake checking them, the solution is to get up sooner. Get up sooner. Um, or have a lane where it's like, if this was a real thing, like they had those movies where it's like this lane is lit up, like it's the HOV lane. It
Mhm.
would be the lane that like, unless you're going 75 and you put your stuff at cruise control, don't even come over here messing around. If you want to
Word.
manually drive and you just chilling, you got three other lanes. Why you come to this lane to do all of that?
I feel you on that,
So
man.
simple solution because I could benefit from that. If I just get up and I'm just vibing, I just want to chill, maneuver through traffic, I got some time. But if I got somewhere to go, this the teleport lane. Get out the way unless you're going 75 and above, cruise control. So
Word.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, that was a good one. Well, before you go, can you please share your social media with our listeners and a website if you have one as well?
Okay, so no website yet. But on IG, I am Ravenous Truth. On TikTok, I am Ravenous Truth. And on YouTube, I am Ravenous Truth too. That is spelled RavenoustrUth on all platforms except for YouTube. You add a two to it, the number two.
All
That's it.
right. Well, it was a pleasure having you on. I hope you come back, especially when you start writing your books. Think of me,
Thank
please.
you. Most definitely. I appreciate this opportunity. Thanks so much, Sharice.
Absolutely. And thank you for listening to Connect Like Minds.